As far as the JEWELSTONE product itself, it's manufactured by Durac, the company that is putting this show together, this show or this session together. And they have been doing it for approximately 15 years. It's a very successful product. Again, if it's done properly. If it's not done properly, there are chances it will fail 2-3 years down the road. But if it's done properly, with a proper sealer, and to be sealed every 2 to 3 years, just a light clear sealer, it can last indefinitely unless there is structural problems. If there's structural movement on the concrete or the concrete below cracks, this stuff will crack as well. Because this is designed to go on at 1/4 of an inch thick. Don't need to do it any thicker. You shouldn't do it any thicker. If you do it thicker, it will crack while it's drying. So it's designed for that, and we should keep that in mind all the time. I will show you how we're going to grind, how we're going to seal the surface, do our scratch coat, our taping design system, the top coat, and the sealers, and also for exterior purposes especially, we're going to make it a non-slip finish, so there's a bit of a grip on it. I'm going to show you some of the things that I have done in the past 10 years. I have my portfolio here, just to give you an idea the possibilities that can be done with this product. For one thing, the boardroom here was done when they first moved here 8 years ago in this location. And it was all done with different JEWELSTONE products. As far as the floor goes, this is regular JEWELSTONE, colored, and then sealed with an epoxy finish, 2-part epoxy product, which comes from here. It's you can see nothing has happened to it. It lasts really well. The chairs with the wheels are rolling around it. There's no damage on the floor. So it's an excellent product for commercial and residential purposes. If people want to do their basements, you can do their basements. People have done their whole floor like that with interesting stuff, as far as the living space goes on the first floor and so forth. And also, we do the exterior part. But as far as this room is concerned, what you see on the walls are done out of styrofoam and then covered with the scratch coat. There's mesh involved on it, and then textured with the JEWELSTONE Plus product, which is a flexible product, and it's a lot easier to sculpt it with. You have more time to play with it, and you can do it a little thicker than the regular JEWELSTONE. And then you can do the color washes. One needs to learn how to do it with practice, unless they have some background in artistic background and so forth. It's easier for them, but anybody can learn how to do this. There's no problem. And so on. As far as this room goes, you can also see the sculpture over there. That was done out of styrofoam. I carved it out of a block of styrofoam and then covered it with different JEWELSTONE products, mesh, put some mesh on it, fiber mesh, and then did a color wash and sealed it. I have done things like that for exterior places as well, and they've been there for a long time. As far as the different jobs that I have done, I can show you so that you can pick up from it. This is another Egyptian indoor pool that I did. That's how I started in the business. And it's the same idea as you see here. I showed this to Durac. I didn't know about Durac, I just bought their products. I didn't know the people here. I showed it to them. He says, can you do our boardroom? So that's how our relationship started there. And this is the, I don't know if you can see that, this is the whole indoor pool. This is done just outside of Barrie, somebody's house. All JEWELSTONE here. Again, JEWELSTONE. I did the ceiling for them as well. Styrofoam, JEWELSTONE, all fire rated, and the whole works. Sculptures and so on. This is an exterior jewelstone job that I did. Again, these are all high-end things. It takes talent, it takes experience in sculpting and so forth to do that. I'm not expecting everybody to jump at it like that. I'm just telling you, showing you the possibilities, what can be done and where it has been done. You know, this is all styrofoam columns manufactured by people next door, and this is all hand sculpted again out of styrofoam. And the columns themselves, I had to beat them up and break them up in order to give that type of ancient Roman, Greco-Roman look. And did the color wash on it. You can see part of the process over here, right? And that's the end product. This is one of the principles from the company. It's a waterfall. There's a hot tub inside. The middle, the top of the waterfall stone formation is open. And it's all done out of styrofoam. And here's the process. Carved out of blocks of styrofoam, worked at it. It turned out to look quite realistic, you know, but I still believe the real thing is better. You know? But it's possible to do this if you want to. But it's very time consuming. I would think it's cheaper to do it with the real stuff. But the only thing with the real stuff is you cannot control it. You got what you got. You maybe can break the stone here and there. With this one, you can go a lot further, right? Color and so forth. Put the pipes right inside the styrofoam. Put the waterfall thing. This one here is JEWELSTONE as well. JEWELSTONE. We'll be doing part of our thing here. I want to do this type of look, but not the wood look. And we'll do some tile or so forth, you know, with a color wash. The wood is JEWELSTONE, colored, carved lines. I'll be showing you that. Carved the lines and so forth to make it look like wood. And this is an interior thing for a nightclub. For a pub, actually. For a pub, yeah. JEWELSTONE on top of ceramic tile. Existing ceramic tile. People didn't want to have the mess. To remove them, they were ugly. Pink and gray and I don't know what, you know, way back from the early 80s. Today they look ugly, then they look pretty good, I guess. So left them down, prepped it, did the JEWELSTONE system that goes on top of ceramic tile. And it's called JEWELSTONE quartz as far as the binder goes and so forth. It's another process. Yeah. JEWELSTONE on walls to give you the limestone look. Same thing over here, with color washes and so on. Indoor pool, again JEWELSTONE with the slate kind of a design, with a bit of a color wash on it. Again, it's regular JEWELSTONE with a design which represents a compass. You can do any kind of design. It's quite simple. Once you have some experience on a couple of them, you should be no problem continuing with it, you know. This is the same place. You can see the boathouse, vanishing pool. I did a ribbon for them and so forth. It's time consuming, but it's possible again. Before and after. There's the before, there's the after. Again, JEWELSTONE, a very simple texture. He wanted very simple, not to design and so forth. And then his interior pool, I did the walls. He had an outside and inside pool. And these are the walls for him. All JEWELSTONE. Right on top of a cement block, directly on cement block, on drywall. You can put it pretty well on it. You can put it on wood. It's just different procedures. This is on top of wood. Lake Simcoe on top of wood. This is JEWELSTONE as well. Bit of a tile thing. The walls are good, especially for the winter months, you know. Interior stuff. There's a before and after. There is one for commercial property. Residential, simple pattern. 2 colors. And here's the bread and butter, verandas. We do a lot of verandas. You can see one here. I like to show you this. I've seen that you guys already know how to go about doing the stone type of a thing. When you have steps, you got to think of them. If you're going to put stone on it, you got to think as if you're a mason. You're taking a three-dimensional piece of stone and you're putting it on top of it. Some people confuse it because it's done so thinly, quarter of an inch. They forget how to make it look visually. What's the word? Stone. Yeah, to make it look like stone. But if you think in a three-dimensional way, what I mean is a stone is this thick, right? Let's say it's an inch, inch and a half. See the steps over there? It gives you that type of a look. So all you do is you use tape, and or you can carve it and so forth. And the way you color it, it makes it look even more so that each stone is an individual piece. Because stone is cut from a quarry, and each piece could be a little bit different, although the overall look is the same color and so forth, but the veins are cut in a certain, the one is going this way and the other is going in a different direction, and that's what gives you that look. Same thing with this veranda over here. There is some before and after. You can see where's the before? Before over here, there's a lot of this kind of stuff. Tons of work for that. I mean, they got a nice house over there, and this whole thing deteriorated. The sun is not hitting that too much, so moisture builds up, different moisture problems, and then the brick starts popping and so forth. If with the JEWELSTONE you can do it properly, repair it, cover it, finish it, seal it, so no moisture will go in there. So it beautifies it and seals it so it can last for a long, long time. There's another one there. This is on top of ceramic tile. Existing ceramic tile, exterior, that was done 4 years ago. I did it 4 years ago. Still looks just like that. It actually ages, it gets a little rustic as it ages. It helps. It helps it, as far as the look goes. And then I do fireplaces as well on top of wood, different textures. There is a before and after fireplace over here. There's a lot of brick fireplaces in Toronto, Kingston, and so forth, Ontario area. And they were doing a lot of them back in the 80s, I believe, right? But it's very easy to, once you learn how, I'm not going to be able to teach you that today, but I'm telling you that it's a way to have winter work. So you can see the before and after. There's quite a difference, and so on. Designs on the floor. There is a mold, one of the entrances I did at Van Mills. The columns for them, all with JEWELSTONE and cement board. This is done at the AMC Theatre on Yonge and Dundas. 30,000 square feet JEWELSTONE, specially formulated for them, and you can see it on all 4 floors. If you ever on the Yonge and Dundas Square, downtown Toronto, check that out. 2 years ago it was done. Unfortunately, I didn't do it because it had to be union, right? And so forth. All of this is done with JEWELSTONE. Before and after, and so on. Okay? So this is...
That's impressive having a hardbound book.
Sorry?
I say that's impressive having a hardbound book for a...
Yeah, it's not only my tool, it's my weapon. All right, guys. What we're going to do now is we're going to begin by grinding a thin layer of the concrete. This is part of the Durex warehouse and factory here, but this is not the real thing. But it's still concrete. This concrete here is very soft, especially designed not to for weight purposes. The concrete that we're dealing normally is outside verandas, pool decks, and so forth, and it's a lot harder. But there is no problem being harder because the tools that we use are quite good. This particular one is a diamond, what do they call it? Bit? Diamond bit disc. And what we're going to do is we're going to scurify the concrete, and the concrete should be always scurified, whether it's 30 days old. Mind you, you shouldn't do any JEWELSTONE or any application on top of brand new concrete unless it's 30 days, right? So we're going to take a thin layer, and the reason is because of the application of the actual concrete. It's we don't know how it was done when people did it. They could have weather problems, whether it rained on them, it's too hot, they had sprinkled some water on top of it, and as they floated, they bring just the water and cement up on top. And that is no good for any kind of overlay system on top of it, especially our system. So what we need to do is remove that film that has potential to delaminate, which in turn would delaminate our product as well. So we don't need to take too much of it, but it's a simple process. We have dust control on our vacuum system over here, and the grinder itself is connected to the dust control. And we're going to do an area over here, and this is the area that we'll be working on and right till the end. Okay, so I'll turn it on. So what we're going to do, we'll do an area here. After we grind, we have to vacuum. Use a vacuum cleaner, have a good shop vac, heavy duty, suck all the dust out. Excess dust is there because there's always dust. Well, after the grinding, it's not 100% vacuum thing there. You can get other machines that they are 100%, but they're heavy duty as far as the cost goes. A shot blast is a wonderful machine, but minimum investment is about $12,000 for something like that, you know. And that would almost take 98% of the dust out. So after that, we vacuumed it, which we vacuumed before. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put the JEWELSTONE primer. What this does is it primes the concrete. So when we put our scratch coat on it, if you don't put this stuff on and you go directly to your first base coat, the concrete is thirsty always. So it's going to suck up the juices, the glues and everything else that we put into the JEWELSTONE, right into it, and weaken the product. What this one does is two things. It does not allow that to happen. So the glues and juices and so forth from the JEWELSTONE would stay where they belong. And also does the connection from this special product, this primer product that we got, connects it to the JEWELSTONE. There is a better binding system happening. The other day, I went to repair. We redid a job because these people here didn't take the course, and they went and they thought somebody showed them how to do it. They got the product somehow, and they used this product, put it down. They built it up about 1/2 inch thick. Wrong. Things started cracking. It was the ugliest thing I've ever seen. So we went and grounded the whole thing. Some areas I had to remove. So when it got to removing using a chisel, there was no way I can remove it off the concrete. At least you use the proper material. He used this binder, this primer. He put the primer down and they did the JEWELSTONE, but he went wrong on the thickness and the color and the design, the pattern. That's where he went wrong. It was close. Simple way to apply it is usually this comes in 5-gallon pails. That's how I get it. Dip the roller in there and start applying it. In this case, we'll just pour it on. So you put a good coating on it.
One thing you got to keep in mind for now, until they make a change on it, because this looks like a regular binder. It has happened where you got a kid there doing the mixing so forth. They didn't read, and they used this instead of the binder. And you say, what the hell happened? And you apply it, you're in trouble. You got to remove it. So I was just talking.
The binder as a primer, will it work? Yeah.
The what? The binder?
What if the binder gets used as a primer? Would you be in trouble then?
No.
No? It does work.
I recommend this one. I have done tons of work with just the binder, mixing it with 50% water. Binder, regular JEWELSTONE binder. It works, but this one here is a lot more superior than the other one. And the costs are not that much different.
So it's good to have that in stock too then.
I would say do it this way. Don't do it the other way. This is 100% better. Okay? The other one works as well, but this works even better. So why chance it, right?
That's right.
Mind you, I was just talking to Gary, the owner of the company, this morning, and I said, how can we do it? Can you change the pail, color, and so forth? He says, I think we can put a tint in it so it looks bluish or pinkish.
Like they do with ceiling.
Exactly,
Yeah.
you know? That way there will be no confusions, you know? You see the color? Because...
Because you get working after a while, 8-10 hours, everything kind of looks strange.
Exactly. Now this sealer here, this primer, guys, if it's a shaded area or indoor area, you should be ready within an hour to apply the base coat or scratch coat of JEWELSTONE. If it's a sunny area, you're outside and it's 30 degrees, the sun is beating on it, you should be ready within an hour to go and put your scratch coat on it, right? Yeah, you don't want this to dry too much, so it becomes a film. It should be tacky. You should be still. You can step on it, walk on it, but it has a bit of a tack to it. That means it's still good, right? So you got about an hour. So don't do, if you have a 2,000 square feet, don't do the whole thing at once. Do a section that you're going to be working for an hour, and then do the other section, especially exteriorly, you know. So there we go. It's as simple as that. Right? You know,
Season gets cooler, speed up the grind.
what we're going to do right now is we're going to apply our scratch coat. Okay, we're going to mix it, and I'll show you how that's done. First, we're going to use pure cement binder. The same binder we use for the scratch coat or base coat is also used for the top coat. And the way we mix it is, we mix this with 50% water. So you put, for a bag, for example, 2 liters of water to 2 liters of the binder. Okay? In our case, we need less because of the area that we're doing it, so I'm gonna just do whatever we need, okay? Pure cement binder. I'll use a measuring cup. So 1 liter of binder to 1 liter of clean potable water. Okay. Okay, maybe one of you guys can give me a hand just to grab this. When I cut my bags, you see this is you cut it in an angle like that and leave a bit of a handle here. You see that? It always works well. Don't cut just a little hole, or use your teeth to open up a little thing. Use a knife, open it up, and then that way you can pour it like this, you know?
Good idea.
All right. This is the paddle that we use normally. It's a Durac pattern I don't know if it's pattern or not, but this is a very nice paddle. The way it works is as it turns, you see this, the blades going up like that, it cleans up or picks up the material, the dry material from the walls of the bucket, and it does not create air bubbles, you know. So if you pour some, and what we're going to do is we're going to make it into a soupy consistency for the scratch coat. Now it's wise to wear a dust mask first. Use all the protective gear you can, you know. You don't want to breathe this stuff, so
I'm holding my breath.
I'll hold my breath too while I'm talking.
Thanks, really quick.
Okay, some more of this. More. Yeah, we'll need some more. Let it settle for a minute, I would say, and then mix it for another minute or so after that. Okay? The reason for letting it settle for a minute or two sometimes is, especially with a integral jewelstone, the colored jewelstone, the color itself is mineral color. Sometimes it depends on humidity and so forth. There might be little balls of color, and it gives it a better chance to dilute the color into the jewelstone. And if you didn't manage to, if you have some older jewelstone on your storage and so forth, and that happened, and you didn't get totally, you know, you didn't mix up the color totally into it, you can as you're troweling it, you'll see a chunk of black or red coming out. So you work it with your trowel, you know, so you don't have this discoloring on it, right? This is a crazy drill, man. It goes on its own.
Then when you want it to work,
I know. Tell you. Did it, eh?
yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna take this scratch coat and apply it right on the.
The easy part.
Yeah. We're gonna apply the scratch coat. Okay. Very simple. Pour it on the ground. Trowel it on. Our aim is to put it no less than 1/8 of an inch, but no more neither. There is a technique of doing that, and I'll show you how it's going. You gotta have about 1/8 of an inch, you know. And also, we gotta make it as smooth as possible, so we don't have to do too much sanding on the next stage when we do our taping, our designing, and so forth. Okay. Knee pads are very important. I got natural ones. So as you apply it, first what you want to do is you want to hear the concrete, the scraping of the concrete. You hear this part here? You do that. And then after that, once you do that, yeah, to push it in, just in case there's some holes and so forth, make sure that it's in there. And then you don't want to hear the concrete, right? So you add some more material just to smoothen it out. This is a small trowel. I use A 16-inch trowel is a little different than this one here, but for our purposes this is good right now. For smaller areas, detail areas, this is great. This is an awesome idea too, guys. I learned it the hard way. Have a second trowel to support your wrist. Okay? Don't do this, because you're going to have problems with your wrist. That's right. Do this, and plus it helps you. If you need to reach a little further out, you put some nice support over there, you can do it, you know? And you're not manipulating your wrist. See, hardly any sound. And sound. I would recommend, and I do always on my jobs, on my regular jobs, I wear a charcoal base NOSH approved, NOSHA approved mask, charcoal. Even the fumes from the binder itself, there is some ammonia and this and that. You don't want to be breathing on it. If you're doing walls, a little different because the fumes go up. But when you're on the floor, you're on top of it, you can smell it. Then protect yourself as much as you can with safety stuff. Safety, safety all the time. You see, this is the color I was talking about when it comes to little chunks like that. But you can always, you know, just mix it in a little bit. You can get rid of it. What we're doing now is we're going to lightly grind down the high ends of the scratch coat, the base coat, so that it's going to be workable to do our tape design on it. So we're using this is a stone here. That's it. You can do it in a mechanical way with a big machine, which is a lot faster. You know, when we're dealing with thousands of square feet, that's what you use. But in this case, this is perfect. The best time to do it by hand is the same day. Once it turns white, once it's dry enough so you can walk on it, and it's not too wet so you smudge it on as you're grinding it. That's the easiest time to do it. And the best. It's fast. It doesn't take much. If you leave it for the next day and try to do this, you'll be there for days. Unless, again, you do it mechanically. When we do the scratch coat, we can hand grind it like that, the way we did it just now. But you should let it cure overnight. If it's really hot out there, 28 Celsius plus, maybe you can leave it for about 10 hours. I recommend that. Let all the gases, all the juices come out before you go to the next stage, okay? And then the following day, you go and put your top coat. You can do the taping before that if you want, if there's a lot of intricate taping happening, but you're chancing it might rain, but cover it up anyways, right? But if you tape it the next morning and then do your top coat. Do your sanding at the same time. We'll go through that procedure later, but let it cure. You need the time to cure. In this case, we're going to again do it all in one day. This is the tape that we use. It comes in different thick widths. This is 1/4 inch. It also comes in 3/8, half an inch, 3/4 an inch. But this is the nicest one that I can find for what we're doing, especially the slate look. What we're going to try and do here is we're going to put a dark slate border. It's going to be slate gray. And then inside we're going to create a tile formation with a lighter color. Okay, and the actual grout lines would be what the tape will be. So whatever we tape, when we remove it, this is the color that we got there right now, which is ivory. That's what's going to be shown as our grout line, right? So we can start with one over here. Somebody can give me a hand. Wait, over there. That's good. Down to here. The way the way we put the tape down is, first you mark it down. With a pencil you put a little mark on that side and on this side. You should think of the tape as doing two things for you, being a chalk line and also doing the taping. Okay, so you put it down over there, just push it down, Mark, with your finger, just rub it down a bit, just a little bit, about an inch or so. And then it's very important when you use it as a chalk line that you stretch it a bit like a chalk line again to the other end. So now I'm going to put it down a bit here with my finger. I'm rubbing just a couple of inches, and then the rest of it, what you do is you kind of tap it down like this, or if you have a 30-foot line, you kind of do the catwalk. You know, because if you go and rub it down like that, yeah, it will take off. You could go this way, that way, then you don't have a straight line, right? And then you put it down. And then with a knife, quick way to cut it, instead of going like this, you put the point of the knife to one corner of the tape, and then it just comes out like that. You just cut it out like that. So you don't have to keep on cutting it like that. Very simple. Now we want to create a nice 90-degree square. So we'll get anything that's 90-degree. Mechanical cut. You can use a carpenter's square, you know. Stop there. And with if I had a pencil.
You just cut the tape off.
Anybody have a pencil?
Yeah,
Okay. You know, a pencil is good. Okay, we can start up. Mike, if you want to put the tape down there again at that end, please. Right at the very corner. Put it down at the very corner, your left hand, and press it down for about an inch towards me. Rub it down, just enough. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch it out, and the line that we got, the square line that we got from with this book here, right? You see, you can find where it is. And that should give us a square right there. We're just going to mark it down now.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter as long as we do both the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on the inside, on that side, okay? Here, all right, good. And more knives.
Put in the tape right there. Ready? Yeah. That's where the slate's going to.
Got it ready? Go on the other side, on the other side. No, no, meaning on this side here, yeah. Yeah, on the inside of the box. Once you start from one side, you got to continue, right? Go ahead and have a consistent size. So let's do a bit of a pattern. You can do 45 if we want to. Or just go straight. 45, that way we don't have to deal with these lines too much, because if you go perpendicular, you got to watch how close you put them on and everything else. So to do 45, we got to first of all set it up. That's right. Let's start up from here. Let's say 15. Nice and big one here. 15 to 15 and 15. Light line. Start from here. So what you do here is you're always making every rectangle or square 90 degrees. Right? In this type of pattern, you use different sizes. You can have, like I said, rectangles, which might be, say, roughly 6 inches by 12 inches. And some might be a little bit larger or smaller. When I do it, somebody's veranda and so forth, I pay attention to my sizes and how I balance the sizes. I make sure that if I have a small piece, little square over there, in an area, I won't leave 1 or 2 pieces of that. I'll make sure that it flows throughout the room. But you know, that's part of design, right? So you got to control the eye to where you want the eye to go, and how the person would feel when they go through it. That's when you get into more depth. Coat. In this case, we're going to use mocha. We're going to use slate gray, but nowhere to be found right now. So just place a little bit of edge there like that. Actually, this is a complementary color to the scratch coat. It's going to be again our grout lines. And this coat shouldn't be no less than 1/8 of an inch, no more than 1/4 inch, okay, guys. The problem, if you do, let's say, somehow somebody wanted to do it 1/2 an inch thick, what happens then? It will crack. What happens? It dries up on the surface first, so a coat is created. The lower 3/8 or 3/4 of the product is the moisture is still in there and cannot escape. So what it does is it cracks the surface, the little skin, and it comes out. To put it in a simple way, I guess, you know. Now to create a slate texture, see, what I'm doing here is I'm putting the trowel on, and there's no weight on the trowel at all. I kind of pull it up a little bit, so it kind of drags the jewel stone, and it gives you this type of a look, right? And you only have so much time to do that. As you're applying it, you got to texture it within minutes. You have to do it then, because if you go any further, you won't be able to step on it, right? And if you want to give it a heavier texture, you can even pull it like this, here and there, right? And then knock it down a bit. You see? You get this nice deep crevices. Is that the right word? Crevices? Not bad for a Macedonian, huh? If anybody wants to try this, go ahead, guys. So take it over. Okay? Go ahead, don't be shy. Who wants to do this? Who hasn't done it before? Here, you do some.
Joe's itching.
Okay. So first you apply it like that. Again, the same procedure. It's very hard to do it in this thin area. First, the noisy part. Remember what we're talking about? Yeah. Here the scratching of the concrete, right? And then you put the good cut on it so you don't hear it. That's the best way. Go ahead. Or take your trowel. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Just make sure that you don't dirty that. So put it on like that there, and kind of lift the one side just a bit, just slightly, you know, the side that you're pulling on, slightly lift it up a bit.
Dash, what are you doing if...
Can you have a little bit more here, please? Just a bit. Yeah, I'll pick some
What
up.
are you doing then?
Ooh. Pardon?
If the
That's good
tape
enough.
is coming off, what do you do?
If the tape comes off while I'm doing this, you try not to, for one thing, but if it does, you put the tape back on, right on the cement. It's okay, you put it on, you know, clean it up with like for example, you came off there, you clean it up a little bit like this, right? And take the tape, put it back on the same to line it up. And work lightly at it so you don't move it again. And then when it's all dry, you can always use that little tool that I showed you.
And scratch it out.
That's right. And then you're going to come back to the color that you want, you know.
Grab one thing.
Oh, you just, when he's gone, you just take it in the It's cheaper though. Also so
Good, thank you.
on the table.
Okay guys, what we're going to do now is remove the tape. So, you know, if you use a knife, the edge of the knife, you can always,
get it started.
Yeah, get it started, that's all.
It gives it a nice rough antique.
There's some partial ones I thought were $50. Did you rate the wrong board?
It's borderline, but we're getting the effect that you were looking for. At this stage, it will give you a nice rough edge, broken up, more natural, more slate. You see? That's what you're looking for, right? That's what you're talking about? If you want. Okay, what we're going to do now here is try not to, very lightly, right? In some areas it might be still wet. You can feel the wetness. When you do that, just stay off it until it dries up a bit more. What we're doing now, okay guys, just 1 second please. Here we go. What we're going to do now is we're going to grind off the high ends of the trowel marks so that you have when you put your hand on it, it will feel smooth, but there are a lot of crevices, a lot of texture still below that. So the high sharp edges, we're going to knock them down with this stone piece. You know, when you see too much of a rough edge like that, lightly just pick it up a bit like that, you know. I mean, it's good to have it, but if it's too sharp, I don't think it's going to look quite as good, you know. There, just a bit. Oh, this is a little wet there. We'll put the fan, and we can do the same thing on the over here. Just go around on this one here, on the mocha color. What we're going to do now is we're going to do our color wash. In this case, our grout lines, which is our scratch coat, we used ivory. And then I used white with 50 pounds of white with 1 liter container of ivory in it to soften it up a bit. And now I'm going to use ivory JEWELSTONE again. See, this is the ivory color to do our color wash. Again, just to soften it up a bit. So if you guys wanna grab a couple of sponges, and we start doing this. That's right.
There's 4 coming in and doing it in 30 seconds.
It's just the start. We'll grind this out and start over.
Okay, the trick to it is not to work hard with it. So you wet your sponge.
So it has to be soaked or just...
Soaked, yeah, soaked. I'll show you how. Put it in there, soak it in, like, okay, soak it in, don't squeeze it yet.
Okay.
Lift it up,
You give it just a gentle squeeze like that. That's it. Okay. Now dip into the jewelstone, right, and spread it. And then once you start working hard with it, you know, rubbing it in there, it's not working. Squeeze a little bit of water on it. There you go. Okay. And make sure that there's no white showing anywhere, right?
What do you want to do with the dark brown though? Because you can do that, right?
Pardon?
Cleared, it'll go away. That's what it's done.
We could have did that on the board that day, and we could have taken home and put it on our home show.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Really? Get a 4x8 piece of plywood and do that on it, and then take it in and just lay it.
4x6 like that is. You know, the welcome, that little clip on the edge. But no, we don't put the whole booth, 100 square feet of it. That'll help blend everything in.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Working to it.
You know.
Guys, this is the last stage of the whole project here, and what we're going to do right now is apply the sealer, and it's the prime coat sealer. I should say the second last, because we still have to do the top coat afterwards. And the sealer is called Xylene. It's a Xylene based sealer, prime coat, and here we go. I got the can open, I can smell the stuff. So in this case here, quickly we're going to put it on and take off, it's okay, but please use the proper gear, breathing gear. Make sure you don't inhale these chemicals here. Because I tell you, they're going to get you, hey guys, they're going to get you real high, this stuff here. And I'm going to have to call you Jewel Stoners. Yeah. No, I'm kidding, but this is deadly, you know. Don't drink it.
Can you use the roller a few times?
It's
115 a pill.
115 a pound? 5 stick? So we have a price list in our thing?